is coming up for 19 minutes to 8 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. Now, we hate to break it to you, but yes, it is back to work. It is back to good habits, we hope.
Yeah, it's time now for a weekly feature on nutrition. Joining us in the studio, as usual, is dietitian Mayuri Bhawan.
Yeah, and we're looking at packing healthy lunch boxes for the kids' schools having reopened. And of course, you have to get a little creative with those lunch boxes. It's always a challenge, always.
Yeah, it's not very, very easy. Just peanut butter and jam.
Oh, yeah, no, she won't say yes to that. Morning.
Peanut butter and jam sandwich.
No, we need to put a little bit of creativity in that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the children get a little bit bored of having those simple peanut butter and jam sandwich. And I think for mums also, they get tiresome of having to make the same thing sort of morning after morning. So I think it's just having to look at just adding a bit more variations in the lunch boxes. And you know, a lot of the times we use bread as our staple, and it's just being a bit creative and thinking out of the box and looking at more other whole grain options. So you know, I find having to use a whole grain pita or a whole grain wrap was a nice option, and also just stuffing it with, you know, more interesting veg options.
Secret veggies.
Secret veggies that they don't see.
Yeah.
and a good high quality fat like a hummus option or olive tapenade. But also my go-to is also like a brown rice, egg fried rice option that you could use from the night before, or even a whole wheat pasta with tuna. That's also a nice option that you can give. And also obviously adding a little bit more veg into the lunch boxes. A lot of the times we just give a bun or a sandwich, and that sort of lunchbox doesn't look as appetizing with no color. So we do need to add at least one fruit portion and at least two vegetable options. And it could also just be from the night before. It doesn't have to always be a salad, so it could just be some broccoli stems or chopped up cucumber or roasted
kids like
tomatoes.
that? I mean,
they do.
The last time we said broccoli stems and people were going, yeah, right.
But if you serve that with maybe like a peanut butter and soy sauce mixture.
So you've got to make it tasty.
Yeah, you have to serve it with a dip just to make it a bit more interesting for them, and also get them involved. Because I find with kids, you need to get them, you need to buy their sort of opinion in terms of what they would want in their lunch boxes.
Get them to be part of packing their lunches.
Packing their lunch boxes.
How do you avoid this? I mean, I must ask this. You mentioned all these kind of things with you could use with whole wheat stuff or whole grain stuff. How do you avoid it getting soggy? Kids can then be turned off and say, oh, it's just too soggy. Yeah,
so try not to put tomato on the sandwiches. I would always suggest maybe just a lettuce, sort of a lean cold meat, or even some tuna or chicken, or even egg option.
You could do baby tomato separately, right?
Yeah, baby tomato separately, and rather use maybe a cucumber.
Or maybe leave it as a whole kind of thing. I mean,
whole,
yes.
So instead of using sort of tomatoes on the sandwich, do it separately. Perhaps maybe just doing lettuce, cucumber, onion, a radish, things that are a little bit more drier, and with some sort of a low-fat mayo or hummus or olive tapenade. Yeah,
something nice.
What about something to drink? I mean, it's been very hot in this heat wave since Christmas. It's been so hot up here in Gauteng and parts of the country.
Yes.
Generally, what would you recommend?
So water is my first option, because I find kids don't really drink enough.
Nothing better than that.
But sometimes you can, you know, flavor it with a little bit of juice. I normally say about a quarter, you know, if you...
Like a fresh juice, you dilute a fresh...
dilute a fresh juice, if you could, with a little bit of water. Obviously, that's second best, but yeah, water is your preferable option. And then also treats. I find that mums or parents in general like to give their kids treats. They don't need it. They don't need it lunchbox. They need it on the weekends. And if they do want a treat, try to bake that option. So even if it's a healthy homemade bran muffin or an oat crunchy, which is a far more better option than a chocolate.
It's something out of a packet. Now we have to do this on a budget, also for many people. Is this doable on a budget?
It is, and I think what's nice is that you can really make batches on the weekend and just sort of put them in containers, and as you go along, just really pack them in different containers. And I think that with kiddies' lunchboxes is definitely to try and have sort of a lunchbox that has different compartments, because they find that a bit more interesting as opposed to 110 Tupperwares, and then half the things are not really eaten on that day and they come back with it. So when it's all together, they might feel, okay, well, this is a bit more jam-packed, you know, they'll probably get through it.
And bear in mind, they're also carrying lots of books nowadays and stuff to school. You don't want to give them too much weight.
But give it one snack.
Keep it simple, straight, but
and also,
variety.
And also make sure that the meals are sustainable, because they are going to be there, you know, from the morning till late afternoon, and not to focus more on snacky foods, but more on a meal.
A whole meal.
A whole whole meal as opposed to just, you know, popcorn or just some biltong or some biscuits. It's not really food. It's more.
It's going to make them hungry a little later on, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so really just more nourishing foods that are more sustainable for them.
It's back to basics. Back to basics, and you can do it on a budget.
Well, Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Pleasure.